It's your boy Black Magus, and let's revisit the whole TikTok thing and talk about where it's at now and where it's potentially going. So, as we all know, TikTok was going to be banned on January 19th, I believe, was supposed to be the date. But the company that owns it, BitDance, decided, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and adhere with your ruling and do it the day before. So this kicked off a set of events that definitely have made me think, like, I don't know where we're going to be in the next 4 years, seriously, because our leadership is very, very stupid. Now, say what you want about the TikTok ban, whether it's smart or stupid. Like, I'm kind of like, it's stupid more than anything, but at the same time, the reasoning is smart, but it's just like, it's stupid as to how they got there because they're not really like serious about it. Of course, this all started in like the first term of Donald Trump's presidency, and yo, maybe Biden was a lot more clever than he thought, or we all thought that he was. By go ahead and saying, go ahead and do this shit, because okay, so the site shuts down, and within 24 hours, all of a sudden, it comes back after, you know, TikTok's constantly putting messages on social media talking about, hey, we might be working out a deal, hey, it might be coming. And then all of a sudden you heard about the speech with Trump where he says TikTok's back. And it's funny because I actually decided when I heard that shit was back to go and just look and see if it actually was back. The first thing they show is a clip of Trump saying that TikTok's back thing, right? Which immediately made me like, and since then, the only contact I've had with TikTok has been videos that someone else has sent me. I have not done any content. I haven't sought any content on it. But I've just been watching, listening to what's been going on with it, and it's quite crazy because here's the thing. It's not a full reversal. It's just a temporary stay of the ban. He's not getting rid of the actual ban. He's just pushing the date further so they could work out a deal. Now, the whole thing was like, ban it or sell it to a U.S. Company. So we wouldn't have a company that is said to be, you know, partially run by the Chinese government, putting out stuff in the United States and potentially stealing people's data and doing God knows what. Again, this is where the security part comes in, which, like I said, it kind of makes sense, but the reasoning was kind of muddied and they didn't really make that argument, especially since you're telling them, hey, we don't think this is safe, but if you sell it to us, that sounds like bullshit, right? Right. So, get the temporary stay, and they do the whole genuflexing to Trump. People have said that they saw a rise in conservative material within their first couple of days, but I've also heard other people say that it went away pretty quickly. And their algorithms kind of like reset itself back to how it used to be, where it was just going after stuff that they genuinely watch, anything similar, and not just flooding it. There may be some people who still get that experience where they'll get shit that they don't want to see, or things that they've never talked about in their content, so on and so forth, right? So now the idea is BitDance is basically like, yeah, we're really not selling. So you guys figure something out. And I think that was the part where I think that they were brilliant, and the way where I think, in part, Biden may have been kind of brilliant in just letting it go through and signing that thing, because we all know Donald Trump loves attention more than anything. He loves positive attention. He loves accolades, and of course, the cheer that went up from a lot of people, especially younger people who don't quite understand what's going on and being fed in this social media era, like everything revolves around that shit, and the real realities of life don't seem to add up to it, right? They're all happy. If you're a content creator and you were making a living, of course you're happy. Even if you do know the circumstances and the stakes of all this, you're happy because that's your livelihood. Those people I understand. Everybody else, though, is just pretty much just happy to have their, you know, time consuming, entertainment. That's it, you know. But Trump kind of knows that too, and he knows that being the quote unquote savior of that makes you like him. And if anything, he loves to be liked. He is a man starved for approval and starved for validation. And so he's probably going to do any and everything he can to ensure that this thing stays on, because if we get to the 75 days and it goes back off and the company's like, yeah, we're not selling, he's in the bind. So is he going to just like, fuck it, y'all could stay the way y'all are and I'll leave it alone and just deal with that? Or is the other side of his ego, where you can't tell him what to do, you can't say no to him, kicks in, and he, does something wild, like something wilder. Like, who knows what's going to go on? So it's going to be an interesting battle back and forth. I feel like they know how to play him and manipulate him, which, that's not surprising since a lot of people have played him and manipulated him. And, a lot of these people now have government jobs and are about to fuck up this whole country because of his, like, let's just be honest, stupidity. Okay? Like, it's just wild. So it's going to be fucking interesting to see how this goes and what's the end game. For him, he needs his friends to be able to buy and convince this company that their money is worth it. They've been offered $20 billion by someone, and they said no. And then again, who knows? Maybe their end game is like, fuck it, let's just milk them for all this worth, because again, they have something that is highly coveted, very well liked, and as far as Trump seems to be concerned, it's critical to his image. Because while they're doing all the fuck shit on the other side, he can at least say, hey, I got your TikTok, right? That's what y'all wanted, right? And it appeals to all sides, not just like the people who staunchly support him. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting back and forth game that's going to be going. It ain't going to be chess, because, only one side seems to know how to really play chess. Let's be honest. But, it's going to be an interesting game. And I cannot wait to see the results. I mean, hey, he may luck up. He may get them to go ahead and sell and be under one of his friends. If that's the case, as I said before, that's not the thing that you want, because he is going to basically turn it into what Twitter has become. And you do not want that at all. And I've been here since the beginning, I might as well stay. It ain't no different. Y'all can make up all the excuses. It ain't going to be the same. It's not going to be as enjoyable as it once was. And just going along with it ain't going to do you no good. Just because you don't want to admit that, the shit is shitty. Like, You know, I've yet to delete my Twitter account for some reason. I don't know why. I think I know why, because I do have friends who just won't leave it, and I can't contact them unless I have it. If they would fucking leave that thing, or you know what, I'll figure out a way to make sure that we stay in contact some other way. I would delete that shit as soon as that happens. Sure, straight up, because there's no sense for me to have that trash app. But a lot of people still feel like, especially since it's the quote unquote well known thing and more popular, people have a hard time moving from what they know and starting all over. That's another thing too. Nobody wants to do that and work back to what they had. Which again, something I understand. Just like I understand with the content creators wanting TikTok to be back, because it's a way that they can make a livelihood. I get that, but yeah. As I said before, you gotta adjust. You gotta have a backup plan. You have to learn how to pivot and not necessarily just be beholden to this one thing, because things change. Even if we didn't have this political drama, again, go back to Vine. Vine had nothing to do with politics. It just folded, and people had to find other options and means of getting by and putting out content, seeking content to watch. So just keep that in mind. There's always a chance that it goes away in some capacity for some reason. So hopefully those guys are able to figure that part out in that way. If this does end up being a permanent thing, they can pivot and be well. That's the thing I hope for the most, is that certain people can be able to pivot and land on their feet and be okay with or without this thing. Yeah. But anyway, as always, you guys, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll hit you later. This your boy Blak, Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.